Welcome to Managing the College Recruiting Podcast, the show where real coaches guide you through every step of the college athletic recruiting journey. I'm your host, Jeff Four, founder of Next College Athlete. Each week, we break down the recruiting process with practical tips, expert insights, and real-world stories. So if you and your family can take control, avoiding costly mistakes, and make confident decisions about your future. If you're ready to get recruited on your terms with honest advice, you're in the right place. So let's get started with today's episode. So hello and welcome back to the Next College Athlete podcast. I'm Jeff Four, current director of athletics at Missouri Baptist University and the founder and director at Next College Athlete. And once again, we've got a really exciting show for you today. Today's episode is all about one of the most powerful tools in recruiting, and that's your highlight video. That is really, and I always reference this when I talk to families all the time, this is essentially, it's your movie trailer. If you think about the motion picture industry and you think about what they've done with movie trailers are really driven, or they're out there to get you excited about a new movie. And they're hoping through that, minute and a half, 2-minute segment that you're going to be excited enough to then pay and go see the full movie. So that's essentially what a highlight video is. A highlight video is really an opportunity for you to get a college coach excited about who you are as an athlete to come see you play live. So we're going to talk about highlight videos, and this is great. So if you want to get noticed by college coaches, you've got to have a great video. You don't need any fancy equipment. You don't need a big budget to make one of these. And we're going to walk you through this. We're going to show you how to create an effective highlight video using a lot of free tools, including those just literally on your phone. And we're also going to talk about what coaches want to see and how to avoid some of the most common mistakes in putting together a highlight video. So let's get started. Why are highlight videos matter? I mean, why is it really important? I mean, don't coaches, come really want to see you play? I mean, what's the point of a highlight video? Well, again, when you look at how many student athletes there are across the country playing in high school, it's really hard for a college coach to get out and see everybody. And a lot of times, we'll tell families now is college coaches don't go to high school games anymore because I'm going to waste an entire day to go see maybe 1-2 kids. That really is difficult. And so, the club game and those types of things have become more prominent where coaches in certain sports that have club can go see a lot of student athletes in one location. The highlight video has really filled in a lot of gaps. And, when I was coaching back at Division I, and this was back in the old era when we would get, VHS tapes, we might get 100, 150 a day. And so you got to think about a coach looking and doing a million other things, having a chance to look at a video. You've got just a short amount of time to really capture their attention and get them excited. So why a video? Well, let's start with the why. So college coaches, again, receive hundreds of email messages every week. We talked about a long time ago, we're getting a lot of videos, but your highlight video is really that first impression. And sometimes it's your only shot to really grab their attention. While they get all this information in email, an email does not tell them about your athletic ability and your skill level. The highlight video demonstrates your athleticism, your athletic ability, especially at your particular position. So this is really your one shot to grab their attention. Again, just like a movie trailer grabs the attention of somebody that, might want to go now see a full movie. So, coaches use video to really quickly evaluate your skill and athleticism and game sense. And that's why we don't want to send them a full game. They don't have time to sit down and watch a full game. Now, if you get them excited about and have a really good highlight video, they're more apt to maybe go in and watch a full game. But really, that quick evaluation, that video is really how they're going to quickly, evaluate your skill level and your athleticism. A good video can really open the door to further conversations, campus visits, And really the highlight video can lead to getting those offers. And so it becomes a critical part in the recruiting process. Now, a bad or really missing video, might never get past the first screening. That's really important. And I think one of the things, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, a little bit later in the show, but, as a basketball coach, I used to get those highlight videos and I'd get a video of a kid making 17 3-point shots. Well, does a kid ever miss? How do they transition from offense to defense? Can they guard anybody? Can they go get their own shot? Can they get downhill? Can they finish at the rim? There's a lot of elements within a video. And so just having one concept or one thing for coaches to view becomes very difficult. So we'll talk about all the things that need to be in your video, but a bad or a poorly represented video can really never get you past that first screening, where in some instances might be a graduate assistant. It might not even be the head coach or an assistant as they're kind of weeding through this. So it becomes really important. Once I was working with a family and I happened to just watch a soccer player who, had been overlooked by many coaches. And, she put together this really sharp, really focused highlight video. And then within weeks, her inbox was full of responses. And this was somebody who literally was not being recruited at all. So again, this can really be your first impression and can really set you up to really great success. So moving on to the next is what do coaches want to see? And I get asked this all the time. So, okay, yeah, we know we need a video. We understand the why, but what do we need in the video? Well, I've kind of given you a hint already what not to put in the video, especially from a basketball perspective. But, what do we want to see in a video? And so let's talk about what should and shouldn't be, in your highlight video. So number one, you really want to lead with your best plays. Coaches may only watch the first 30 to 60 seconds. And so you don't want to save the best for the end because, again, a coach might not get there. So really taking your best highlights, your best plays, where we're going to be able to really see you showcase your athletic ability, really needs to be in that first 30 to 60 seconds. So as you're cutting this up, as you're building it, putting those most exciting dynamic plays in that first 30 to 60 seconds is really going to be critical. Game footage over practice, real competition is going to show your skills under pressure. So we will, and at times I've seen a lot of video where they'll give training videos, practice video. Again, you got to understand in a practice setting, even if you're a starter, you're playing against a second-rate team. You're playing against a second-rate team, a player, somebody who's coming off the bench. So we're not playing against, equal. It's not an equal opportunity there in order for you to showcase your ability, where when real competition, you're being pushed, you're being challenged against the other team's starting force. And so I think that really is a differentiator. So real competition is definitely going to show, your skill under pressure. Position specific highlights. Show what makes you stand out in your role, whatever position you are, whether you're a tight end, a running back, outside hitter, whether you're a slapper, a catcher, first baseman, really whatever you are. Position specific highlights is something that is really going to help showcase you. Clarity is really important. A lot of athletes, I think this is great, especially when you're talking about a lot of people out running around like in a football game, even in a basketball, using arrows and circles or text to identify yourself is a really good way for a coach to very quickly identify who you are. Because even if a coach has your number, again, depending on how far away or depending on the quality of the footage, they might not be able to necessarily see what your number is. So, that clarity piece becomes really important. And then variety. Again, this goes back to not just seeing somebody make a 3-point shot or only 3-point shots, but being able to see a range of skills offensively, defensively, huddle or hustle, teamwork, really anything you can showcase that is going to give a coach a full overview of all of your skill set, especially in football. If you're a multi-positional player, you play on offense, you play on defense, we're going to want to put both highlights in there. Even if you're primarily being recruited just at one position, maybe on the offensive side, only, putting those defensive elements in there really give the coach a really good idea about your athleticism, your athletic ability, and your ability to transition and that. So, that becomes really important. So variety is super, super important. Some things to avoid. These are like no-nos. These really long intros, music, fancy effects and fades and all that stuff. Listen, coaches don't want it. They don't need it. They don't care about it. Don't spend the time to do it. Don't put music on, especially because I'm telling you, I never turned the volume up because I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear the music. And so, that becomes really, really important. You also want to avoid repetitive and or what we call those filler plays, things that are not really going to showcase your ability. That's just not going to help you. And so eliminating that, knowing that you might only have 30 to 60 seconds to capture the attention of a college coach. I don't want to put those repetitive videos in there, and I don't want to put those filler plays. I don't want to see you dunk the same dunk 3 times inside of a video. Don't need to see it. It's not necessary. And then low quality, shaky or blurry footage. So we'll get a lot of footage sometimes from parents who, maybe their high school doesn't record the games. It's really hard to get to. I mean, the great thing is with Hudl now, most high schools have Hudl. They use Hudl. The athletes have access to Hudl, and so you can do it a lot with the video, and the video quality is pretty good, especially because most schools have Hudl cameras now, and so they're stationary cameras, they're high definition, they're really good. But we'll get some where the mom and dad is the videographer, and they're trying to hold this thing. And I get nauseated and sick just watching the video. So tell your parents, tell your girlfriend, tell grandma and grandpa, whoever's doing your video, go on Amazon and buy a tripod and buy a phone holder. You don't need a big video camera. We understand how great the video cameras on our phone, and they are completely fine, but you can buy a really cheap, inexpensive tripod. We can stabilize it, and it's going to create much better quality, and it's not going to be shaky. And, the other thing is the focus. The great thing is everything's autofocus now. So, having blurry footage, which we used to get all the time, was always problematic. Not so much right now. So, again, as myself from a coach's perspective, I want to see your decision making. I want to see your athleticism. I want to see how you interact with your teammates. Show me you know the game, not just how to score or necessarily play your particular position. So just a good tip as you're starting to think about these highlight videos and starting to put this together. So let's talk about planning your highlight video. Before you start editing, you need to really plan your content. So you need to look at, okay, am I going to use multiple games? That I have a really good game? I think I can pull, a lot of clips out of this one video. So gathering all of your clips is going to be really important. Ask your coaches or teammates for footage. They might have some footage as well. Pulling from different places is great because, again, you're going to get different angles. Somebody might have an angle that is a much better representation of a particular play or a skill set or an athletic play that you made. And so thinking about that becomes really important. You want to sort by impact. You want to put your most impressive plays first. Remember, as I told you, a lot of times you might only have 30 to 60 seconds to capture the attention of a college coach. And so putting these impact plays at the beginning is really important. Keep it short. We don't want 5-minute videos. You literally have 1 to 2 minutes max. I wouldn't, and I know some people say, well, 3 to 5. I say 1 to 2. Again, as a former college coach, I can tell you, we get so many of these that the lower amount of time in a video is going to be to your benefit because a lot of times coaches are never going to get to the end anyway. Give them a teaser. Get them excited about what you've given them. If they want more or they want game footage, they will reach out and they will let you know. So keep it short versus these really long ones. And for whatever you do not send full games. That is not going to help you whatsoever. And then, make a list. Make a list of all the things that you want to put in there. Like, I want to put some offensive plays in there. Let's put some defensive plays in there. Let's put some special team plays in there. Let's put a leadership moment, a time I dive on the floor. Look at varying what is going to be in here and make sure that you've got a great representation of all of your plays. And again, we want to make sure those impact ones are at the beginning. If you're unsure which clips are best, again, ask your coach or a trusted mentor for feedback. If you've got a current or former college coach that's in your network, ask them, say, hey, I've got a group of clips here. What do you think is best to put first? So don't be afraid to ask for help. That becomes really important. Now, when I started, I said that, you don't need a bunch of fancy equipment. You don't need a bunch of stuff to do this. This is really simple. So let's talk about the free tools that are available for editing and not having to go out and buy Adobe Suite and pay $300 a year because I feel like, I need all those tools to create a video. You do not. So when we start looking at really some of the free tools that are out there for our iPhone users, iMovie. On Mac or iOS, very user-friendly, great for editing and for titles. So a really simple piece. Again, if mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa, girlfriend are recording your movies off of that iPhone from sitting on the tripod that I told you everybody to order so it's not shaky, you can use that iMovie literally on your phone to edit these videos. Windows Video Editor, again, it's built into Windows 10, 11, simple, easy to use, incredibly effective. Canva has become a huge piece of this, not just for graphics. You can trim and combine video clips right within Canva. It's relatively inexpensive. They've got a free version of it, super cheap, super easy. Canva is a great opportunity. YouTube Studio. One of the ways we'll talk about getting your videos out there outside of what I would recommend and what we offer in our recruit management system, which allows you to put videos up there. Creating a YouTube channel is a great way to obviously showcase your videos. Well, you can use YouTube Studio to edit, trim, and add simple effects for uploading. So again, really, really easy, really, really simple, right through YouTube Studio. And then I talked earlier about Huddle. If your team uses it, it's really easy to pull and organize clips in your Huddle. And that's another great way for you to use some free tools to get your highlight video edited. So again, I've mentioned a few. There are other ones out there that you can find. There are trial versions that you can take a 30-day trial version. You can get your video done and then you don't have to buy the full version of it. So, that's always an opportunity as well. But those are some great free resources that you can literally use to build a high quality highlight video. So when we look at the step-by-step, again, really you're going to upload your clips to your computer or cloud storage. If they're already on your iPhone, they're already there, and you're going to use iMovie. You want to arrange them, again, as we talked about with your chosen tool, making sure, again, that your most impactful plays, the most impressive plays are at the beginning, and then adding simple labels or arrows to identify yourself is really important. And then you want to export the video in a really common format, and usually the best is MP4. So if you put them out in MP4, MP3, those are really going to work great. They're going to drop into an email really easily. Coaches are able to see them. If you're using an online profile, again, like our recruit management system, you can use that. And again, giving a shout out to something that we have at nextcollegeathlete.com is our recruit management system is really a one-stop shop. Not only can you build your online presence, we've talked about in the past how important that is, you also can put unlimited videos up there. And then again, some of the other things that we have in regards to search engine that has all of the college and universities, email addresses, phone numbers for coaches, has a built-in email system. You can connect to your Gmail. So again, having everything in one spot, but you can upload videos there. But again, talking about great tools, talking about free resources in which you can build these out. Those are some great resources there as we talk about. And then obviously you're going to upload either into YouTube or to Vimeo or wherever you're going to put them, upload them to our recruit management system. So then they're in one place for college coaches to see them. One of the other shout outs that I'll tell everybody is again, while YouTube is a really usable platform, Huddle is a really usable platform for highlight videos. One of the big challenges that families have is that you don't have the ability to see what college programs our coaches are looking at your video. That's something we have within the recruit management system. So you're going to actually see who's opened your emails, who's watched your videos. And so it's going to help you follow up and interact a little bit. So it is great to know when you go on and you put those videos up, who's looking at your videos. YouTube, you can put them up and you can say, well, yeah, I've had 35 views. Well, do you know the 35 people that have looked at it? Might be all 35 by your girlfriend or your boyfriend. So knowing who's done that is a really big impact. So then structuring your video as we kind of, move down the line here and talk about kind of the next thing in our video conversation tonight is really, here's a proven structure that is really good. So it's not bad to do an intro slide. You can use PowerPoint. You can put this in. It can be a still video, but having that intro slide at the beginning, but we're talking about something that's up for 5 to 10 seconds. We're not talking about a series of slides, a series of photos. We're talking just about that one intro slide that essentially has your name, your graduation year, your sport position, your school, and most importantly, your contact information, email, phone number, and also feel free to put any of your social media links up there. That's a good thing to have in that intro slide. And then we're going to put in that 60 to 90 seconds of your best plays. We want to make an immediate impact with our video and get a coach really super excited about what they're looking at. And then we can put in some skill segments. That's something you can put in: offensive, defensive, special teams, some leadership opportunities, and then some extra pieces that you can put in. And again, not every coach is going to get to this, but we'll see a lot of kids, and I think it's fine to put in an academic character slide, GPA, honors, leadership roles, involvement in church, some of those community activities that you've done, and some of those leadership opportunities and things you've been part of. Creating that academic slide or that character slide at the end is really good. And then putting in a really quick closing slide, just to thank you again with your contact information. So, we're talking about, again, an intro slide, really short, all your information, that most impactful plays in that 60 to 90 second window. Some skill segments is really good. And then kind of closing it out with an academic character slide and then a closing slide. And you've really built now that 1 to 2 minute impact video that's going to get really college coaches excited. From transitioning, when we look at this from slides to plays, just keep it simple. Avoid distracting effects. We don't need to do anything fancy. Coaches don't want to see it. They don't care. So again, let's just really keep it simple. Okay. So we've built our video. I've talked about our recruit management system where you can put up your videos, but let's talk about other ways that we can share and also promote your video. So creating a YouTube channel is a great opportunity. Vimeo is really good. There are other video sites out there, but you want to put your video up someplace where you can send a link or email a link directly to college coaches. And again, as we talk about going to Next College Athlete and looking at our recruit management system, which by the way is only $10 a month, no contract, all of your information, you can share it out for college coaches. All your video can be in one location, all your academic information, and then more importantly, the email marketing can be done through there and hooking into your Gmail account, and then your ability to build your target list, which again, we've talked about before. All of that functionality, all those features in our recruit management system. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop, one platform to do your entire recruiting, swing over to www.nextcollegeathlete.com and up at the top, look at RMS, our recruit management system. It'll walk you through and kind of show you what's included, but that's a really good place. But outside of that, YouTube is great, setting up a channel, someplace again where you can create a link that you can email to college coaches. Really, really important. Adding your recruiting profile. Like I said, our recruiting profile, if you got an NCSA profile, whatever it is, that's other things that you want to promote. Share it out on social media, share out your link, your YouTube channel, so coaches again can find it. Tag coaches, tag programs that have built on your target list. That's a really good way to do it. And then you want to update your skills and improve as you get new footage. So the thing about a highlight video, it's not necessarily one and done. As we get new plays, as we get exciting moments, it's okay to go on and have 3 or 4. I mean, we've got a couple people up right now in our recruit management system. They have 5 or 6 videos up. Because again, if a coach really likes something they've seen, they might go look at the next one and go look at the next one. So as you improve, as you have new highlights, it's definitely okay that you're updating this video continually. All right. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. I think one of the biggest one is that the videos are too long. Coaches don't have time for a 10-minute video. They don't have time to sit and watch a full game. We see these all the time that are just too long. Unclear on who you are. So again, that's why it's important to put that title slide in, to label yourself in your plays, to be able to use arrows to identify yourself. I think that's really important. And I see that as a common mistake all the time for individuals, athletes, student athletes that don't do that. Poor video quality. You definitely want to use your best footage that's available. Ask for help if it's needed, but we want to make sure that it is really good, high quality video. I've seen some that are just terrible. Again, that's a big turnoff. You might be a great athlete, but you're never going to get a college coach to watch it because the quality of the video is so poor. Repetitive plays. So variety keeps the coaches interested. We do not want to continue to have these repetitive plays. We want to have some variety. We want to have, show your athleticism, show your skill set, put some leadership opportunities, dive it on the floor, making the great catch, making the recovery, whatever that might be. You want to put some a good variety in there. And then again, I mentioned this before, music and effects. Skip it. It doesn't need to be in there. Coaches don't need it. And the other thing is talking. We don't need you to talk through your play. SS coaches are primarily going to turn down the volume. We're typically not going to listen to it. So there's no reason you taking the time to have a bunch of effects or have a bunch of music in there. So as we kind of start to narrow this down a little bit, what are some action steps and some resources here that you can start doing this week? So I think number one is if you don't have a highlight video, let's start together and look at your best game footage. I think that's step number one. What do you have out there? Do you have any friends? If you're saying, well, we didn't record any games, we don't have a huddle. I bet you that there is somebody on your team where mom and dad recorded some games, whether it's 1, whether it's 2. So you might want to start asking around. But I think we want to gather your best footage. That's kind of first and foremost. And then we want to make a list of your top 10 to 15 plays within the video footage you have. If you can start to go through these and identify that, those are really great. And then we want to choose our free editing tool. We went through those earlier. Hit rewind, go back. I give you iMovie, the YouTube Studio. There's a lot of free tools out there, but we're going to want to choose our free editing tool so we can start to build our highlight video. We can put these 10 to 15 plays into this. And that. And then I think once it's done, what I recommend is, ask your coach to review it. Have them take a look at it, have them tell you what you think. If you have a former or current college coach in your network, I think having them look at it and say, as a college coach, what would you think? What are some changes we need to make? Is it good? Is it not? I think that's really important to get some feedback. And then you can go also to our 12 module course. If you've not subscribed and you've not picked that up, I would definitely recommend that, because within that course, we actually have a free highlight video checklist that you can download that kind of gives you a brief overview. You can go back and you can listen to this podcast again. You can go through some of the tools that we've given you, but that's one thing you can do is that if you haven't had a chance to get over to Next College Athlete, check out our 12 module course. We have a lot of downloadable tools, but one of the things we have in there is a highlight video checklist by sport. So what are some of the specific skills, whether you're a baseball player, basketball player, volleyball player, that you would want to have in your highlight video? We have those over there. So as we kind of wind this down a little bit, one of the things I always like to do is we get questions that come through all the time. And so I always like to throw a few questions that have come up in the past, especially around our topic tonight. And so I've picked a couple. And so here's the first one. Do I need a separate video for each position I play? So if you play multiple positions, you want to create short segments of each, or separate videos if you're being recruited for both. So again, if we're offense, defense, multiple positions, that type of deal, creating short segments and putting that within your highlight video, putting those impact plays, bouncing back and forth will work. But you also can create that separate video if you're being recruited for both positions. So don't be afraid if I do an offensive video, a defensive video, if I play both ways and you're recruitable at both positions. Another one I pulled out, which again is asked all the time, is can I use practice footage? So game footage is always better, but if you don't have game footage, you can put in some clips that will show some of your technical skills. So some drills, maybe some scrimmages. It's not going to be of the same quality that we would have necessarily in game footage, but it's better than nothing. But again, we want to be really selective as we're going through this and taking a look at having these videos and what we put in them. So, we want those impact plays. And again, we don't typically always get the impact plays in practice, but if you don't have any game footage, using those practice clips could be definitely something that we could start with until we actually get some video footage. So I got a quick listener story for you that kind of came across too. So a baseball player that I work with literally had no varsity footages at all as a sophomore. He was a sophomore, but he used his JV and some showcase clips to create this really strong video. And I can tell you, even though he had never played varsity, we just had JV and showcase clips. It really caught the eye of college coaches. College coaches, you have to understand, they're looking, especially for somebody that's a sophomore, they're looking for a skill set and somebody that can develop into something. So you don't need to be a finished product right now. We're looking for athleticism, specific skills. And I can see if you're a sophomore that you're going to grow into some of these things. So it doesn't necessarily, if you're starting this process early, which we talk about how important it is to start early, it's okay if we don't necessarily have the varsity footage. We can get a lot of runway and a lot of interest literally out of, having this JV or showcase footage. So that's something to kind of think about. So as we close this out again, thanks for tuning in, to the Next College Athlete podcast. Hopefully you picked up some good tips tonight. Hopefully you learned a lot about videos. It's really, really important. And again, reminder that a great highlight video doesn't require a big budget. We talked about really, really cheap, inexpensive, and free tools you can use. It just takes really smart planning, honest feedback, and focusing on what coaches want to see. Again, I want to encourage you to join us next week. We're going to dive into another big topic, and that is social media for recruiting. How do I build my brand and how do I connect with college coaches online through social media? There are some good aspects of social media, and we also know there are very bad. So we're going to dig into social media for recruiting and how to use it most effective. So again, I'm Jeff Four, current athletic director at Missouri Baptist University, and we will see you next Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode and send in your questions that might show up on future podcasts. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next Wednesday.